Hello, our dear friends, and welcome to another episode of Trust the Tape. Haven't trademarked that or anything, so if you're out there and looking to steal that name, please don't.
Please don't.
And I'm sure somebody else has something called that. They're just not as massive as we are. My name is Jeff. And I, of course, am hanging out with my friend, former Cowboy scout, my draft dad, and the CEO of Crown Global Media. I gave you a title. I don't know what your title is. The great and powerful Bryan.
I'm the manager. I'm the manager of that. I'm the manager of this. Yes.
He's the assistant manager.
Hey, Bri.
I'm the manager.
Oh, he's the manager.
I'm the manager of this. Yes.
Shout out to my guy Stembo, who's in the chat before we even got started today. Can you replace the spark you give Clarence today with Benadryl? My God, bro. Yeah, Clarence has been hitting up my energy drink stash, Clarence Hill of DLS Cowboys, and so he's got even more energy than usual sometimes, and that's a problem. A lot of Tasmanian Devil from Clarence on the show. See you guys today at 11.
So this is something we need to look forward to at camp. Is that what I'm hearing? Like
he's gonna be there the whole time. I'm only gonna be there for a week.
I'm about to say though, is he figured out the spark game, and is he going to be using that every single day?
You don't want that. Yesterday he had the spark, and then I watched him. He had a 5-hour energy in his hand during the show, and Clarence doesn't need any of that stuff at all. So anyway, good morning, world. Yeah.
Real quick, I look in the chat. Chat catches my eye. I always like, should they sign Isaiah Bond? Isaiah Bond's in some legal trouble right now.
Yeah, you gotta let that one play out. You're gonna look real bad if you sign him right now.
Yeah, that is a man. How about our guy? Is it Maxwell with Kentucky?
Hairston, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's the Bills kind of that's kind of a rough one right there, but good player. But yeah, Isaiah Bond, there's some legal troubles you have to go through there. That's why he is not available to you right now, or available to a lot of teams. They're just going to see how this thing plays out.
All right. Well, I'm going to tweet real quick. I am telling Bryan Broaddus the one player the Cowboys should sign today, right now, on this show. And then I'm going to put my YouTube link. That's probably something that a professional.
Does Asante Samuel make sense if you know about the shoulder, neck, all that stuff? Doesn't that one make sense for you about corner?
I think it does, but I think possibly even more realistically, Bryan, we don't have to look so far.
Okay.
We can look to a man who's been here before, that when we were doing a pre-draft press conference, he was hanging out there. That yesterday, Wanye Thomas tweeted, always good to talk to the OG or whatever and tag them.
No, that's cool.
Bryan, all we got to do is bring in Stephon Gilmore.
We've seen that. And I'm okay. I mean, listen, I'm kind of trying to, towards the end of Stephon Gilmore, we were all kind of like,
he's slow.
I was starting to see maybe some slippage there. And, I'm just trying to think a little bit further. Yeah. Is it going to cost you money? The Cowboys going to balk at opportunities like that? Sure. But go and try something a little different. Try something that is, maybe that it carries you to a different direction. Maybe you get a different player. The Gilmore trade and all that, it was well done. But now you're to the point where maybe you need to think about something a little bit different. I can say, but if Gilmore signs, listen, I understand.
What you're telling me, Bryan, what you're telling me is that idea is a dud. The only reason it makes sense to me, and I would have to know how is Stephon
to me,
Gilmore,
it's a dud right now. To me, it's a dud.
The only reason that I think it makes sense is, one, they love people they already know. And two, I am actually not looking for a guy that's going to be a starter all year. I just need somebody to help me tread water until guys are ready to play.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're playing 4 or 5 games and they're attacking your Band-Aid and they're ripping it off, and
come get some if you want some.
Yeah.
What if we play DK Metcalf again? Do we play the Steelers? I need to, I might have to pull Deron Bland out of the fire with the old guy.
Yeah, I kind of think, like, to me, that thing with Samuels, and Jeremy Phillips in the chat is asking, when is that going to be figured out? There's some time during camp here in the next 3 weeks or so that they're going to figure all that out. And I'm sure that he'll be a guy in demand. I would be on top of that one. I would absolutely be on top of that one. And, trying to kind of figure out that, okay, hey, here's a guy that has played at a very high level. Yeah, he's been hurt. I know what Gilmore is. I'm interested in some other things, but if that's the bridge. I'm not calling it a band-aid. I'm going to say the bridge. If that's the bridge to getting others healthy, then by all means, let's go.
Rich said, if we sign Gilly, then we know this group is in bad shape. See, the thing is, I think I already know that this group is in bad
The
shape.
group is in bad shape.
You're hoping for a revitalization, a rescue attempt on Kaiir Elam. And right now, you don't have an option other than that. That has to work. He has to play.
Right.
And then Revel's not ready. Diggs absolutely is not going to be ready.
No.
I'm just telling you, absolutely is not going to be ready. And so you got Bland, Elam, and you're just throwing something in the slot. I guess you're going to throw Bland in the slot. And see what happens. So I do like your Samuel idea if he's healthy, because now you can plug him in the slot. Bland can do his job. There's no rush on Revel to get on the field. There's no rush on Diggs, and we can just go play football.
Yeah, and Steve Home asks, Steve Home. I'm sure his name's Steve, and that's probably a home address he's working on. But
Horn.
He says, is that Horn?
It's
I'm sorry, Horn. My bad.
Sure, my R and the N almost touched.
It looked like my glasses. I need to get checked.
Okay.
Mike Hilton over Samuel. Mike Hilton, a little bit of an older guy, good slot player. See, there you go. That's. I don't think I would take him over Samuel, but at least you're thinking the right idea. You're thinking other name. You're thinking Samuel. You're thinking Hilton. You're thinking, we've seen Gilmore. And I'm just kind of going to try and do a little bit better than that. Is all I'm doing. I'm nothing against Gilmore. I just try and do a little bit better over that.
And I think Trevor's got my thought process there, where I could see it either way, where you're talking about a guy who you want to be your slot guy, and that's going to be your guy. There's certainly value in that. I think there's also value in bringing in the old guy who you're not asking him, hey, I need you to start all year. You're asking him, look, can you just help us survive for a minute? And then hang out with these guys. That would be my deal with him.
I worry, Jeff, about this. People worry about this team getting run on.
I worry about them getting everything done.
I do too. I worry about the and hello, Miss Charles. I worry about the teams like going, listen, we're not equipped to run the ball very well. We're a team that's kind of built to maybe throw it a little bit better than we run it. You're always not going to run across the Eagles, or, you saw last year, the Eagles, the Lions, the Ravens. You saw those teams like that. Teams are built to they're pretty good at maybe throwing the ball, but their running game's not all that strong. You've got to be committed to want to beat Dallas running the football. The Buffalo Bills did it that one time. They were committed. Not all offensive coordinators are that committed to running the football. They're just not.
Yeah.
And so that's where, but I do worry about all of a sudden they find a way to block Micah. They single everybody else up, and you don't get anybody home, ball out. And now you got a secondary that's scrambling to cover people. We saw it in Philadelphia. When they completely fell apart, 3 years ago, where they were 10-1, rolling right along, and then people figured out just block the front and throw the ball in their secondary. What did they do the next year? They went out and drafted 2 kids, and then got rid of some guys because they were bad in the secondary.
Yeah.
Teams said it's we could throw the ball on a team that has a good pass rush. Just block the front.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about.
Yeah, I think that we're staring down the barrel of another year where what you're going to say is, hey, Mr. Number 4.
Yeah.
I need 30. I need 33 today. I need 34 tomorrow.
And it turns into throwing the ball 40 times, and then there's going to be the bounce off somebody interception, and Dak's going to get blamed, and he's going to have a couple where he didn't see the linebacker, and then that's the way it goes.
We're just going to have to eliminate the couple where he doesn't see the linebacker, because I think that's the very interesting, and it better be interesting thing about Dak is I think some of the things he's best at is on time, read the field, deliver accurate ball, and you'll have about 4 a year where you're like, what the crap did you see?
It happens every year. And I think Dak, if you ask me something that Dak and you could really, really improve on, and here we are, in 9 years, 10 years, how many years are we? Yeah, we're somewhere like that. I don't think Dak necessarily reads defenses all that great. I think Dak preps his ass off. And I think there's times where Dak does get fooled. NFL quarterbacks get fooled. And you've seen Aaron Rodgers, there's been some slippage with him the last couple of years. He went from being an elite field reader, defense reader, to, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And I think with Dak, I think the mission for Shoddy is to help Dak. Yes, he cannot help the interceptions that bounce off his teammates' hands. What he can help is making sure that like he is absolutely sure that where he's going with the ball is the right spot. That's where Shoddy can help him. And that's where you have teams, coaches sometimes do something where they have these 2-level reads. They take that out of the quarterback's hands because there's that struggle going that way.
Stembo wants somebody to Photoshop my face on the face of Brad Pitt on the F1 poster, the movie, and rename it Jeff 1. Because I did talk about this yesterday on the show. I got a haircut yesterday because I've been chasing the long hair flow.
Mm-hmm.
But then I saw F1. Every time I see something new, I'm like, you know what? I need to embrace the fact that I am 41 years old. And I can't be Casey Dutton from Yellowstone. I can't just have that flow. It's taking too long. Now the in-between's weird. And so I'm going to embrace my Brad
Sonny
Pitt.
Hayes. So you're Sonny Hayes now.
Yeah, I'm Sonny Hayes. And you see, he has some things that I can't have. He's a little more handsome and he has a little bit more money and charisma, but I can kind of match that hair,
You're
so
a handsome guy, Jeff. But what you got to do to get that style is you got to wear a helmet. You got to put a helmet on. And then what happens is driver hair goes all over the place. It's kind of crazy.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wear a helmet on my way to work so that on the DLS Cowboys podcast, I will look just like that. Jotman wants to know, any chance we could get Vach on Trust the Tape or Jeff on Doing All Right? Would love to see all three of you interacting at once. I've never done anything with Vach. And honestly, I don't like Vach. And so that's the thing. It's tough to get us together because Bryan has to break it up all the time because Vach and I don't get along. Yes, absolutely. We could do that. We could probably do that a bunch. Yes.
It's probably at training camp. Oh, no, wait a minute. You're going to be at training camp at a different time than us. We'll see you. Well, yeah, absolutely. Got a big brand new studio. We'll invite you over and let you hang out with us. Yeah.
I'll come hang out there. That does sound like a job for G from Jersey. That's the Photoshop guy who put up the thing about me trying to rescue the thick Latinas from the ice facility, put my face on the face of a guy. I don't know what parking garage handsome is, but I will absolutely take it. Now, Bryan, you said Stephon Gilmore's a dud, which leads us to your brand new segment that you're debuting here, which is not called "Is it the hot dog or is it the bun?" But it could.
This is a hot dog bun. I think it's a hot dog too.
In honor of the 4th of July, Jeffrey, being Friday tomorrow, happy 4th to everybody out there that celebrates. Yeah. Make sure you have the right bun. We're not going to get into that whole thing again.
And don't half-ass the dog. Don't roll out.
Don't.
Yeah, get the all beef. Get a ballpark, Frank.
There's reason why you got 3 or 4 jobs. Go out and get some real. Hot dog buns and hot dogs, and don't be afraid of the Italian sausage either. Too. That's a good one to put on there.
Don't be at all. I'm going to Kaboom Town tonight. I'm going to see some fireworks.
Where do you park for that, by the way, real quick?
So I've never gone standard way. If you're not a DFW resident, none of this is going to make sense to you, but there's a big event called Kaboom Town in Dallas. Technically,
it's been going a long time.
And back in the day, a family member of mine had a company that the business's parking lot was right in that area and also had hangars at the flight museum that they kind of do it at. And so I had secret ways in. And this time I'm going with a lady person who has been invited by a company that has hangar space at the airport. So once again, I will not find out, but I know that it's a train wreck if you're just going out there.
I've seen people just park right there on the tollway. Just
park on the tollway, belt line, wrap or whatever.
Side of the road. Okay. A Brock guy, Vance, I'm totally with you. My time is in Green Bay. I used to they had a brat shack right outside the grocery store for $1. You could walk in, grab a brat. I would be eating the brat while I was pushing the basket. I'd be grabbing it, but I'd be eating the brat. Boy, I love brats. You're right about that.
I've always been impressed by the confidence of the person who will open an item. Like, I know you're going to pay for it when you check out, but it's a different level of confidence to be eating your Pringles or whatever as you're shopping. I'm like, they're not yours yet.
I've done that with sushi.
Okay.
I've done that. I have actually put the container in the top shelf and put the soy sauce on top. And it's, I know it's disgusting, folks. I'm sorry. I'm not human at times, but yeah, I've walked around the grocery store and then I have the container and I'm like, here you go. And then I have to kind of put the tape back on it because the code has got ripped a little bit.
Yeah. You broke the QR code. So now you got to call somebody over and be like, look, I was eating the sushi. I broke the QR code. Do you know how to type this in? And then they just look at you like, come on.
No, yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hot dog or dud? Firecracker or dud?
Firecracker or dud?
Cowboys offseason.
Um,
And this is all kind of just leading into training camp. This is not, I mean, it's just a little bit of just your impression, just kind of these,
Yeah.
as we're about, 20 days of all traveling that way, and we're kind of talking content here, which is cool, but off season.
People might kill me for this. They did have the one firecracker, which I do appreciate. I appreciate the big cojones move for George Pickens. I appreciate that. I will say offseason was a dud. They're gonna have to prove me wrong. You have more confidence in the Kenneth Murray thing than me, and I want you to be right.
Sure.
Jair Elam, everything that comes out of the mini camps and the OTAs sounds good, but I'm skeptical of it. Like, I'm very skeptical of the reclamation project, or his existing team didn't want him and was looking to give him away, and you were like, sure, we'll take him, and then he's going to be great for us. I'm skeptical of those sorts of moves. So to me, their offseason was essentially George Pickens. And maybe like Jack Sanborn as a role player, I buy that. I look at their roster, and maybe it's the fault of the combination of 2 or 3 off seasons, but they're heading to camp, and I don't like what they got at D tackle, at running back, at cornerback, at least early. I don't like what they have. Let's see, everything like linebacker. It's just, there's too many position groups that I don't feel good about going into a season. And that's what the offseason's for, is to address that. I think this draft could turn out to be a good one. If I'm wrong, I'm proven wrong on Jair Elam and Kenneth Murray, like those two, then this offseason will be a firecracker. But I'm skeptical of a lot of the things they did.
Firecracker or dud, hiring Matt Eberflus.
Oh, you don't get to firecracker or dud me and not tell me what you think about the explosion. Firecracker or dud, Cowboys offseason.
No, it's my game. My game. Go ahead.
Oh, you just get to host the game?
I get to host the game.
Matt Eberflus.
I think it's got some dud elements to it too. I do agree with you on that.
Thank you. I'll firecracker Eberflus. I'm going to miss Mike Zimmer when we play Washington and they hang 40. I'm going to be like, hey, remember that time when we were the one team in the world that Jaden Daniels couldn't play football against?
Jaden Daniels is so happy to see Mike Zimmer out of the league right now.
Yeah, but I will say firecracker on Eberflus, because I think there's 2 things that I like. One is I like coordinator who gets a shot as head coach and it doesn't work out and they go back to their home. And I think his home is run the defense. And I like that. And I like the fact that depending on which stop you look at, you could be like, oh, yeah, Eberflus, a big Tampa 2 guy. And then you're like, well, yeah, Eberflus, big cover 3 guy. So the fact that you're willing to do different things, whether that's coming from your head coach or whether that's coming from your personnel, and the fact that you're back at the job that I think you're made for, I'll go firecracker on Eberflus.
Firecracker, I'm going to go firecracker. I think he's going to be fine. I like Zimmer better myself, but that's
you're friends with Zimmer.
I'm a friends with Eberflus too.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Absolutely.
Now you're going to have to see him and tell him that you said you like Zimmer better.
No, I mean, I like Mike. I have more of a longer relationship with Mike.
Okay, see, there you go.
Firecracker or dud, offensive college coaches.
Firecracker. And this one could not work out for that to be true, but I don't mind. Like, I think in a lot of ways, the game is a little bit different, a lot of it because of hash marks and a lot of it because of the level of talent. But I think a lot of good ideas come from college. I think a lot of creativity. I think for a long time, the NFL would stifle creativity because if you did something that wasn't part of the established pattern and you didn't win, and most teams aren't going to win the Super Bowl, 31 out of 32, now you're a dumbass and we have to fire you because you did something that we don't do around here. I think a lot of good ideas go from high school to college, go from college to the NFL. And I like the fact that those hirings mean that it was from outside the circle of whether it's Schottenheimer or the Joneses or whatever. I like that their head coach search was not this, but their assistant coach search seemed to have a wide net where they were just looking for the best dudes they could find. And maybe they are looking for ideas. And I think ideas do filter up well from different levels of football. So I will say firecracker, hiring college coaches.
Firecracker or dud signing Micah Parsons before camp?
Am I predicting if it'll happen?
Firecracker or dud?
It would be a firecracker. It would have been a firecracker to sign him 6 months ago. It would have been a firecracker to sign him over a year ago. It would have been a firecracker to have him locked in at $32 million, or even in this offseason, 37 or 38. Maybe he would have had to beat 35 or whatever. Cool. But now we're waiting and we're going to clear 40 because of Myles Garrett. And if you keep waiting, you might have to clear 42 because of TJ Watt. But I have a Recky Specky on the Cowboys on these signings. I mean, it's just their established pattern. And so now agents know it and there's no rush because I know at the end of the day, you're going to be on all fours and I'm going to do whatever I want.
Stephen Jones is, gosh, I was going to go somewhere. And then all of a sudden you said that. Stephen Jones is pissed now. He realizes he's painted into a corner he never wanted to be in. But it's his own doing. It really is. My
Recky Specky is that the reason that they wait so long on a lot of them is because fiscal new year, July 1st. It's fiscal new year. And so if you're on a budget, you have to wait until your fiscal new year so that your new budget can kick in. Now, why they wait past July 1st for another 6 weeks, well, that's up to them. I don't know. It would be a firecracker to sign him today or tomorrow or whatever. But if it's a prediction, it's a dud because I think Micah Parsons, just like CD, I think we'll get to camp and it won't be done.
Yeah.
And he'll be out there doing nothing.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about it every day. And we're going to be like.
And Jesse Holly brought this up on the DLS Cowboys podcast. And I think it's a good point. It's also a challenge for David Mulugeta, Micah Parsons' agent, because Micah's a psycho. When he's at camp not doing anything,
he wants to be involved.
He wants to get out there. Yeah. And David's going to have to tell him, please let me do my job.
Yeah.
Please do not run in there and sign a contract so you can practice. Let me work.
Yeah.
You got to keep a sharp eye on Micah because he wants to be in there.
He absolutely does. Firecracker dud, Dak's health.
Firecracker. I have no reason to doubt it. Today, it's a firecracker. Today. Now, am I skeptical of how long it's going to stay together? A little bit. They desperately need that.
They do.
A firecracker.
They do.
Because I do think that typically, if he plays all the games, you win 12 games and you go to the playoffs. I don't think this roster is as good as the team that does that most of the time, and I think the schedule is hard. I think even with good Dak, you are scrapping your ass off for 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Even with good Dak.
The schedule is wild.
We talked about it yesterday. They're favored in 6 games.
Yeah.
So Vegas has them going 6-11. That's why they're over under 7.5, because Vegas thinks they're going to win 6 games.
Yeah.
Well, you need that to be a firecracker. And so maybe that's part of it is I'm not willing to go into a season where they need him a lot, expecting him to not be able to give them a lot. So I might be going a little optimistic, but I'll go firecracker.
Firecracker or dud? By the way, I'm going firecracker on his health.
I like that.
Is you inside, as you would like to say. I think that's what you say.
Yeah, get your little insight. Okay.
Firecracker dud. Jerry's Netflix documentary.
I'm the king of the cheater answer.
Don't do this, Jeffrey.
I'm the king of
this. Don't do it. Don't do it.
The man who wants to consume content.
Yeah.
I love looking back at things and talking to people and reliving all the fun stuff. And you'll usually learn some things. And for the generic Cowboy fan, I bet you'll learn a lot. And I bet there'll be new stuff that'll pop in there that I'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. So as a content man who just likes to watch shows, and I really like the Hard Knocks and the Dion Coach Prime stuff. Boy, I enjoyed that, except for when they were showing his disgusting feet and sticking needles into his fat toes. I like that stuff. But as a man who likes to hold people accountable,
you're calling this a dud?
That generation of Cowboys football.
It was crazy, man. I was getting my ass kicked every year with that team.
The glitz and glamour and the glory that Jerry Jones likes to live of that generation of football is the reason that 30 years later he can get away with not trying his hardest to win another one, and he's not universally crushed for it. There's a reason they're not the most aggressive team builders. There's a reason they don't get things done on time. There's a reason. The fact that catapulted them into being the Dallas Cowboys lets them get away with being content, with being incredibly rich and incredibly in the headlines. So it's a dud because I don't like what it represents about how they get to do things today.
Sure.
But it's a firecracker because I'm going to watch the hell out of it.
Oh, we're all going to watch the hell out of it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was part of those Hard Knocks things, a couple of those.
Yeah.
I'd call that a dud. I hated every minute of that. But when you watch it, you're kind of like, wow, people getting some. I tell you, today they're doing a lot better job of getting the insight. The Giants one was fascinating. The insight you got from the
Saquon thing.
The Saquon thing, gosh dang!
That one guy in the room is sitting in there going, "Yeah, buddy." The one who's like, "Guys, we should maybe we should maybe keep him." No,
okay. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe we should keep him. Yeah, the owners in there talking about it and all that. Firecracker or dud? Cowboy fan base right now thinking about their team.
Because it's July 3rd, we might be able to firecracker this thing. It is, but I think it is more pessimistic than it's been in quite a while.
Years.
But I mean, once you get into offseason, you manage to find it pretty much every year where you start finding the reasons to believe and the things you're looking forward to. And I think George Pickens helped them with that this offseason. I'll say dud. I think people are less interested, but whatever the percentage is, it's not enough to impact. Like it does impact, take you behind the scenes as somebody who does 2 YouTube videos a week with Bryan Broaddus and then does a show separately. Numbers will always go down in the dead periods. There's still plenty of interest in the Cowboys.
Sure.
But yeah, if I got to choose between the two, I think it's more looking at them skeptically, going to go to less games, less interested than it is gung-ho. So I'll say dud.
I kind of feel like that. I feel like it's I think fans are what you're talking about with. I think they're a little fed up.
Yeah.
I think they're a little fed up. And working for the team all those years, it's still, like I say, popularity, the numbers, all that show otherwise. But I think there's a deeper fan base. And it's sad for me because we're trying to create Crown Global Media. I want to put out content. And it's a lot easier working with that team when they're winning. It's a lot, the positivity of it all is like a big tidal wave. But then there's when the losing happens, you feel that. You really do feel that in the whole organization. But I think fan base is far more. I don't think the fan base is putting up with crap anymore. I think they're tired. I think they're tired. I think what's especially happened with the Philadelphia Eagles has made this fan base really tired. Because now Eagle fans are giving it to Cowboy fans like the Cowboy fans used to give it to the Eagle fans. And it's the shoes on the other foot. And I feel like that the fan base is like, you know what, I don't want to take this anymore, kind of a thing. So
yeah, if you're a Cowboy fan and you're tired of the way your Eagle fan friends talk to you, blame your parents.
Yeah,
your parents' generation got to win everything, and they were not humble. They were not humble and kind.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
On the attitude.
I grew up as a Cowboy fan myself. My family had season tickets 1972 till 1992. And I saw all those like 20 straight years of winning football, Super Bowls, championships. Dallas Cowboys were good before 1989, before Jerry Jones bought the team. They were really good. And that's why you have this fan base the way it is. But yeah, I think a lot, Jamal says a lot of fans won't be in Oxnard. I'll tell you why a lot of fans aren't in Oxnard anymore. Me personally, what I've noticed, you got 2 teams in LA now. I think the people who really liked football, those Oxnard fans, would just come and just to watch football. good football fans, Southern California, good football fans. But I think they were coming to watch just football. And what happened is the Rams came in and the Chargers came in, and now they have a team to pull for. They have their own team again. So now you see that when we worked with the Rams last year, you saw that come back.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of the fans, I know for all the years I went to Oxnard, I've been there every year they've been there. Raider fans, now you have the Rams fans, now you have Cowboy fans. So that's going to be divided that way. It's really not Cowboy fans. I think a lot of fans have taken the idea of like, well, I got my own team to pull for now. For a while there, they didn't have a team. So now they got their own team, and their own team has won a Super Bowl here recently. So, that's going to draw away from the fans that are Cowboy fans there.
That's a good point. Bryan, thank you for joining us for this episode of Is It a Hot Dog Firecracker or Is It a Dud Bun? What a wonderful game. Appreciate your time, and I hope that you have the best day ever.
Thank you, Jeffrey. You do the same, and I look forward to catching up with you guys next week. We're getting closer and closer to this thing, so it's a really exciting time.
All right. Remember, everybody,